Hello everyone, and welcome. Today, we're exploring innovation and sustainability, specifically focusing on how small and medium-sized enterprises, or SMEs, can leverage public procurement to drive both. This module, part of the Precius project, will explore the opportunities available to SMEs in this area. Let's get started. Let's begin with a quick overview of our roadmap. First, we'll discuss SMEs and access to public procurement, why it's worth pursuing and what challenges SMEs often face. Next, we'll introduce innovation partnerships, a relatively new way for public buyers and companies to co-develop innovative solutions. Then we'll delve into sustainable public procurement, how governments are using their purchasing power to drive environmental sustainability, and how SMEs can benefit. Following that, we'll talk about co-creation with environmental engineers, essentially, how collaborating with experts in the procurement process can help you deliver greener, better solutions. We'll then look at how SMEs can scale innovation via procurement using public contracts as a springboard to grow. I'll share a real-world case study from Darmstadt, a city in Germany, to illustrate these ideas in action. Finally, we'll wrap up with key takeaways and recommendations. Public procurement is a massive market. Across the EU, government purchases account for roughly 14% of GDP, that's in the trillions of euros. For SMEs, which make up 99% of businesses, this should spell opportunity. However, currently SMEs are not winning contracts in proportion to their share. In fact, while 57% of public contract awards in the EU go to SMEs, those tend to be smaller contracts, the share by value is much lower. In one study, SMEs in the Netherlands won about 50% of contracts but only 21% of the total value, indicating bigger contracts often go to larger firms. So, there's a paradox: SMEs are the backbone of the economy, yet they are underrepresented in public procurement. Why should SMEs care about changing that? Because access to public procurement can mean steady business growth. Winning a government contract can give an SME reliable, long-term income, a buffer against economic downturn. It can also serve as a stamp of approval, helping you gain credibility. Let's look at some data. These charts illustrate SME participation and competition in public tenders across different countries. The first chart on the left shows the relationship between SME success rates and the level of competition. The Baltic states, Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania experienced one of the highest win ratios of SME winning public contracts, while the public tenders had at least two competing organizations in approximately 70% of tenders. A high ratio of SMEs winning is also observed in Switzerland, Malta, and Cyprus. The chart on the right highlights the proportion of contracts awarded to SMEs in various countries over the past few years. The lowest share of SME winning public contract. Let's move to a more specific opportunity: innovation partnerships. This is a relatively new procurement procedure introduced in the EU's 2014 directive. It was designed for scenarios where the public buyer, say a city or a hospital, has a need that no existing product or service can fulfill. In other words, you need to innovate to meet the requirement. Traditionally, public procurement wasn't great at handling innovative solutions. It tended to favor off-the-shelf products. The innovation partnership flips that script. A public authority can publish a call describing their challenge or need, without specifying a known solution. Companies then propose how they could research and develop a solution. The authority can select one or multiple partners, often including innovative SMEs, and enter into a partnership agreement. This agreement covers the R&D phase and the subsequent purchase of the outcome, if it meets the requirements. Think of it as combining a procurement contract with an R&D contract. For example, imagine a city needs a very advanced wastewater treatment system to remove a new type of pollutant, but no current system does this. Under an innovation partnership, the city could partner with, say, two companies to co-develop a solution. They work in stages: design, prototype, testing, and the city can then buy the solution. It means if you have a great innovative idea, you don't have to fully self-fund its development and then hope a public buyer will purchase it later. Instead, you work hand in hand with the buyer, and you know that if you succeed, you have a guaranteed customer. For SMEs, this model of the innovation partnership is powerful. It also allows a closer dialogue with the public buyer, which is not usually possible in traditional procurement. Essentially, it's a form of co-creation in procurement. Now, it's true that innovation partnerships are still relatively rare. The European Commission noted that only dozens of such new and contracting authorities are learning how to implement it. Next, let's talk about sustainable public procurement, often abbreviated as SPP. In simple terms, SPP means that when governments buy things, they deliberately consider the environmental and social impacts of what they are buying, not just the price. So, a city might say, "We need buses, but we will give preference to electric buses because they are better for the environment, even if they cost a bit more." Or a national ministry might require that its office cleaning contractor uses eco-friendly cleaning products and also provides good working conditions for its staff, covering both environmental and social criteria. This concept is becoming mainstream in the EU. Many countries have green public procurement action plans, and the EU itself has developed criteria for green procurement in areas like construction, IT, vehicles, etc., to guide public buyers. Now, why does this matter for SMEs and innovation? Because sustainability requirements can drive innovation, and SMEs are often well positioned to deliver niche innovative solutions. Let me give an example. A few years ago, the city of Örebro in Sweden wanted to procure PVC-free catheters for its hospitals. PVC in medical devices was a concern due to environmental and health reasons. At that time, hardly any supplier could meet this demand. The market just didn't offer PVC-free catheters widely. Örebro could have just given up or waited. Instead, they went ahead and put out a tender saying essentially, "We want catheters that are PVC-free." Only a very small company was able to answer initially. But the result was that this company got the contract and proved it could be done. Fast forward 8 years, and all suppliers in that market offered PVC-free products. The public procurement created a demand pool that pushed the whole industry toward an innovative, greener solution. This brings us to the idea of co-creation, especially in the context of meeting environmental goals. Public procurement traditionally is a very formal, arm's-length process. The buyer writes specs, suppliers submit bids, and one wins. Co-creation is changing that dynamic. It means involving various stakeholders in the procurement process to collaboratively design the solution. For example, a city planning a sustainable infrastructure project might bring in not just potential contractors, but also environmental engineers, user representatives, and others early in the process to discuss how to achieve the best outcome. For SMEs, co-creation can be incredibly beneficial. It gives you a chance to contribute your innovative ideas before the requirements are locked down. You can help shape the project in ways that play to your strengths, and also understand the buyer's needs in depth. One practical way co-creation happens is through market consultation or pre-tender workshops. Many contracting authorities, especially for complex or innovative procurements, host sessions where they invite industry players, including SMEs and experts, to brainstorm or provide feedback. This might be framed as an information day or even a hackathon-style event. In the realm of green procurement, involving environmental engineers or sustainability experts in these discussions is vital. They can provide technical guidance on what's feasible and what innovations could meet the environmental targets. In turn, SMEs get to learn exactly what performance or standards the buyer cares about and can adjust their approach accordingly. It's a two-way learning process. For an SME, engaging in co-creation might mean partnering with an environmental engineering firm to jointly bid on a project. You bring the innovative product, they bring the technical compliance expertise. Now, let's talk about how engaging in these kinds of public procurement opportunities actually helps you scale up your innovation. This is a crucial point. A lot of SMEs might think, okay, I win one contract, that's great, but how does it help my overall growth? Public procurement can be a launchpad. When a public authority, especially a credible one, buys your innovative solution, they are effectively acting as a lead customer or reference client for you. This is huge in the innovation world. Many innovative SMEs struggle with the first customer problem. Nobody wants to be the first to try a new product. Governments can break that deadlock by taking the first chance. Once you've delivered successfully for, say, a city like Paris or a ministry in Poland, you have a case. You can point other potential clients to it and say, Look, our solution was adopted here and it works. It reduces the perceived risk for new customers and investors. There's also a direct scaling effect. Public contracts can be big. Even if you start small, a satisfied public customer often extends contracts or gives you more work, and other departments or regions might piggyback on the success. Additionally, public contracts are typically stable. They might run for 2, 3, or 5 years, giving you predictable revenue. That stability can justify expanding your production, hiring more staff, or investing in R&D to further improve your product. It's easier to scale when you know you have, for example, guaranteed orders for the next few years. To cement these ideas, let's look at a real-life example, the city of Darmstadt in Germany. Darmstadt's experience shows how a forward-thinking public buyer can create opportunities for innovation and for SMEs. In 2017, Darmstadt entered a national competition called Digital Stadt, or Digital City, organized by Germany's tech association Bitkom. Darmstadt earned the designation of a model digital city and attracted a coalition of technology partners to implement smart city solutions Sway.City. Over 20 companies, including startups and larger firms, joined forces with the city to work on projects in areas like traffic management, energy, digital administration, and more. This was co-creation on a grand scale. The city had needs and ideas, and the companies had technologies and innovations. Together, they planned and executed pilot projects. What happened is that Darmstadt essentially used a mix of public procurement and partnership to accelerate innovation. In conclusion, public procurement is a strategic tool that can empower SMEs to achieve innovation and growth. To succeed, SMEs need to focus on access and preparation, understanding the market, utilizing procurement portals, and seeking relevant training. Adopting an innovation mindset and leveraging mechanisms like innovation partnerships is crucial. Remember, sustainability sells, so investing in sustainable innovation is a smart move. Collaboration is key, so engage early with procurers to understand their needs. Finally, use public contracts as a launchpad to scale your business and expand into new markets. We've covered a lot of ground, so let's wrap up with the key message. Public procurement can be a strategic lever for SMEs to drive innovation and advance sustainability while also growing their business. If you're interested in learning more, here are some valuable resources, along with the additional learning materials uploaded to the course canvas. Thank you for your time and attention. We encourage you to connect and discuss these topics further with your peers on our forum, as well as to use additional materials uploaded in the course canvas.